Hey everyone, welcome back to my deep deck dive series. I'm DannyDonuts. Let's get started. So by now you probably got the hang of this. The theme of this series is that you give me a wacky concept for a deck, and I'll try to brew something up about it and play it on the wild ladder, see how competitive we can make it. So we got a really good one this week. We got it from a player who goes by the name of Clofin Zygmunt, and he said that he wanted to do a Spectre's Arugel Even Mage. He tried out a bunch of things with like elementals, mechs, and dragons, and I think that this would be a really fun deck to do. So I'm pretty excited. Let's try to see if we can make Even Mage. So let's first put Gen in the deck. Now, my initial thoughts on here is that I know that the control options for Even Mage are definitely tempting, but I kind of want to use the 6-mana card that helps you cycle through your deck really quickly. I want to use a Lunith in this deck. So that means that we're going to want to be really aggressive. And which set is the most aggressive, which like tribal synergy? And I mean, Murlocs are okay, but the best thing that you can do is mechs. Mechs are great on even synergy. You used to see that in even Paladin and Wild, and I feel that if we do like a mech mage type base, we can get a lot of power and board control. Mech Warper is really good, and then for like board trading, a Noyotron is typically very good because you gotta sink 2 hits into it. So let's start off by adding in all the even mechs and the mech synergy cards. Let's take a peek at those. Alright, so we have Snow Chugger, which we're definitely putting in. Blast Mage is a really good 4-drop. Then we take Noyotron, we take Mech Warper, we take the Shredder. We'll see how many 2-drops we have, but Micro Machine is something that we want to, if we're running light on 2-drops, Micro Machine comes in, but it's probably the last mech that makes the set. So I think that just here, having these 8 mechs and then the Goblin Blast Mage should be good enough for like an aggro core for this. So now we want to emphasize a little bit more about our let's put the cards that we were asked to put in the deck. The Book of Specters and Archmage. Not really sure how good Archmage is in a tempo deck, but it'll definitely keep us going with pressure, right? Because we draw a card and we'll get 2 copies of it, so we'll continuously be able to pressure. So even though we're running Book of Specters, we're going to need to win the game by burning our opponent out. So we want Frost Bolts, and we're also going to want Fireballs. Now, so we got maybe 10, 11 spots left in the deck. We want to go and do things that relate to the hero power. So Fallen Hero is definitely something that would be really good, right? Because now you have a 1 mana deal 2 damage. So Fallen Hero is definitely really good. Koldara Drake is very optimistic. I don't think that Koldara Drake is good in this deck because I mean, you can do 10 mana for 10 damage for 10 mana, but you're not really developing. It has to be you play Koldara Drake and then you blast them to lethal them next turn. I'd rather have a bunch of other things that can interact with the board so that we can kill them by turn by playing our big minions. So Garrison Commander was also something I was thinking of because now we can do 2 solo pings for 1 mana apiece. So it's kind of like just utilizing your hero power to that degree. So double Garrison Commander's big. Nothing else is really worth considering. Frost Giant's an interesting card. I know that Slizzle was playing around with this deck at some point, and he was playing Frost Giants. I'm not going to go with that approach. I think that Frost Giant might be a little bit too slow for what we're doing. We want Polymorph. We want to be able to deal with Even Shaman when they put down that 4-mana 7/7, make it into a 1-mana Overload 2. So I'm happy with the Polymorphs being played. Got 5 spots. We can definitely put in Blood Mage. Blood Mage Thalnos. You're going in the deck. And then we got 4 spots left. So we want to play 2. Let's see what good 2-drops we have. In Mage, we have nothing. We can consider like a Flame Cannon, or if we're playing against a lot of token decks, we could even be playing the Arcane Explosion. That's a thought. We might come back and put the Arcane Explosion in the deck just so that we can deal with Paladin. I mean, we already do really well against Paladin having the 1-mana hero power. So we're going to be drawing a lot of cards, so... Bone Guard Lieutenant's pretty good, actually. This is a pretty good 2-drop, because you start gaining health and you're pinging at almost every turn. So yeah, we're going to play the Bone Guards, so that's our 2-drop. Don't see anything else that's particularly drawing me to play it. So for top end, we might want to play Bone Mares. Bone Mares are pretty good. Well, a lot of the stuff we want to do is burn them out. We'll get an early board presence with the mechs, and then we got to turn that board presence into damage. So let's play some top end. We need a little bit more pressure. We don't want to get burned out. Life Drinker's a thought. I think we play Life Drinker, to be perfectly honest. We'll get a little bit more extra damage in on our opponent. We'll play double Life Drinker. I kind of want to include Ragnaros, too. Ragnaros is very good. Ragnaros being our top end. We'll take a Life Drinker out and play Ragnaros. Yeah, so this looks pretty good. It's a aggressive mech mage style, and you're definitely able to get on the board early, manipulate your hero power, and then burn them out at the end. So it looks pretty good. Let's give it a shot. Alright, so we got our first matchup, and we're playing against a priest. So I think that we want to look for some of our more aggressive 2-drops. Our Mech Warper, Fallen Hero. This is probably going to be a big priest, so aggro, aggro, aggro is what we're looking for. Alunith is big. Ragnaros will be big later on. I like keeping the Bone Guard, though, because that's a pretty good 2-drop. Very aggressively statted. Alright, Frostbolt, nice. We want to get our minions on board. We went on double Bone Guard. He's not going to be able to get a clear except for Pain. The first clear that they'll run that this is relevant is Excavated Evil. He didn't keep any cards off his mulligan, so the odds he has Barnes is pretty low. We played Bone Guard because we're going to be pinging next turn. The sooner we can get that out of Excavated Evil range, the better. So we got to survive that hump. Okay. Alright. So we're full on Smork in here. We may take an inefficient line next turn, just so that we can make sure we're out of that range. Possibly Snow Chugger Ping. Alright, so we want to be able to burn him out on turn 5, turn 6. Blood Mage, Frostbolt. Polymorph. Polymorphs are going to be great later on, but I think the inefficient line Snow Chugger Ping will let us win this game here. Because at this point, he has to Excavated Evil. That's his only clear option. That leaves us with 6 damage on board. Blood Mage Thalnos, Frostbolt for the extra damage for lethal. The extra 4 damage. Healing potion is the other out that he has. But at that point, we're just going all in. Okay, we got it. So we ping face, just snork with everything. And then we Blood Mage Thalnos, Frostbolt. And that is why it is aggro Even Mage. Game 1 in the books. Alright, next game. Playing against a Druid. This is going to be one of the more tough ones. We need to get bored really quick. I don't even like keeping Book of Specters. We just want to pile on the minions really early. Well, we got the Book of Specters. Druid has a lot of card draw and has a lot of armor gain. So just chip damage early on is how we get them. Because they really can't interact with the board like meaningfully until turn 4 with Oaken Summons. Alright, we Mech Warper. In case we draw into one of our 2-drop mechs. Okay. Well, it's turn 4 for him. Okay, doesn't have Oaken Summons. That's nice. He does have a Moonfire, though, so he's Malagos. Alright, good to know he's a Malagos. Doesn't really affect much. Means we're going to run into less taunts. Alright, so he's got 5 cards. 6 cards, 5 cards. So he's going for draw. That's fairly good for us, to be perfectly honest, because he might not be able to expect the burst that we're going to give him. Alright, so Spreading Plague is probably what comes down. Spreading Plague or UI. If he has UI, then we're okay. I like Garrison Commander and just getting in some burn. Playing an Oiotron. At this point, we're saying we lose to Plague. We're okay with UI. But he has too many cards for UI, so maybe he doesn't draw Plague. Poison Seeds. Poison Plague. Alright. Oh, he had the nuts there on that. Hopefully we can get him to a Ragnaros turn. Frostbolt, okay. So we can chip him away. He's at 9. He goes down 5 to 4. And then Life Drinker. Ping is lethal, but he's going to try to heal up. And then after that we'll have a Rag, so we'll deal with some of these trades, but we want to start pinging them. If we draw into any other burn, that's always good. Alright, so double Wrath. His armor gain cards, Oaken Summons, and Branching Paths. Dang it, we're 1 hero power off. We're gonna Ragnaros next turn. So if he goes and he UIs here, he goes to 10. So we need to Life Drinker, Bone Guard, and then Ping. Put him at 6. With UI, obviously. If he had Branching Paths, he would have played it there. Alright, so we have lethal with Fireball. And then we have a 1 out of 4 otherwise. Alright, so we're going with the 1 out of 4 right now. Let's go, Ragnaros. Come on, baby, you got this, Rag. Yeah! Woo! That was fun. Ragnaros knows how to win games. Alright, so we got another mage. Most mages are playing tempo. So, I guess the play is get on board as fast as possible. Having some burn to contest like early game is good, so Frostbolt will be used pretty well. Archmage is a little slow. I don't really think that in the optimal version of Even Mage, you run Archmage. Oh my gosh. So, don't be counterspell. Wasn't counterspell, everyone. It's gonna be explosive ruins then. He had counterspell and decided not to play it. Interesting. So, we'll take 4 damage. That's fine. We're really fighting for board. That's the big thing. He's gonna have more burn than us, but I think a more board-centric attack is better. Bone Guard's better. Bone Guard eventually gets out of range of the Medivh's valets. Fireball face, okay. So he's just going in. We are going to just smork him then. Polymorph is going to be good under Cabal Crystal Runner. Fireballs burst. So he's just going in at this point. I think we're okay. Digging the Frostbolt into there. And then just a ping face. Can't kill us from 10. At this point, the last secret's Ice Block, obviously. Alright, Cabal Crystal Runner. So we poly. We don't ping. We make the trade with the... Yeah, we ping. It doesn't matter. So we play Blood Mage. We ping. So next turn we pop them, and we have to play Life Drinker. Alright, so he has to draw into his, oh crap. Well, it didn't play optimally there on there, in case he gets the second one, but he has to draw into a Fireball or a Roaring Torch. Board-centric typically wins. You're able to get more accumulative damage with your minions. Alright, so we got a couple good wins there. Had a lot of fun playing this deck. The Even Mage. It's pretty good, actually. Not too big of a fan of Archmage or Rugal. A lot of the time, I was just searching for burn at the end of the game, and he didn't really duplicate the burn, because if you draw into a Lunith, your hand's just too big with him. And when you're playing out your cards, you typically don't get anything because he's one of the easier targets to remove, especially with a lot of things dealing 2 damage, like Mercspark Eel. MVP cards were... Fallen Hero did a lot, because the combination Fallen Hero into Garrison Commander, being able to do 4 damage to your opponent's face is great. Being able to burn them out. Ran into a couple Reno locks, which was tough when they got Reno, but otherwise, besides Druid's always going to be a bad matchup, but there's not really too much that punishes aggro at the moment. And this is a board-centric version of aggro mage, so did a lot better against certain matchups that tempo mage is really lacking in. Overall, I think this is a pretty good deck. Pretty impressed. Thank you, Clofon, for giving me the idea. If you guys want to see your idea in the next episode of the Deep Deck Dive, just go and put it in the comment section below.